Okay, good morning, guys. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Hi, Sarat, Manisha. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Okay, let's jump on. So what did we discuss in our last class? Auto scaling and load balance. Let's have a quick shootout. So what is auto scaling? Scale out and then scale in. So saying scale out and scale in is good, but in interview, you need to expand a little bit. What, scale out and scaling what? So you need to say scale out and scale in EC2 instances based on the load. Simple as that. So in auto scaling, we have something called minimum, maximum, and desired capacity. So what is desired capacity? Yes, how many EC2 instances that we need initially to, or we wish, or we desire to launch initially is called desired capacity. And minimum and maximum are boundaries. Minimum and maximum are boundaries. So is it good to have same capacity of EC2 instances or different capacities? Same capacity. And then we have discussed about there are three types of scaling options. What are those? Manual scaling, schedule scaling, and dynamic scaling. So manual scaling meaning if you are going in editing the values, desired capacity, that is manual. Schedule meaning based on the day or based on the time period. And then last one, dynamic scaling. So based on the load. So which one is mostly commonly used? Dynamic scaling. Okay. And then how does this auto scaling group knows how to launch an EC2 instance? It is based on what? Based on launch configuration, or we call it as launch templates. Launch configuration, launch templates. Okay, so launch configuration or launch templates is nothing but that 7 steps, correct? Okay, so can we have your application in the TMI? Yes. Okay. And then we have discussed about the load balancers. So what is a load balancer? Load balancer distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. So load balancer is completely managed by AWS. So load balancer is a server or a service? Service. So how do you access load balancer? Using IP address or with the DNS name? DNS name. Is it good to use with IP address? Does a load balancer has IP address? It has, but those are static or dynamic? Dynamic. Okay. And what are the different types of load balancers we have? Application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer, gateway load balancer. In shortcut, ALB, NLB, CLB, GLB. All B's. Huh? Okay. So which is the most commonly used? Application load balancer. So application load balancer works on which protocol? HTTP and HTTP. Yes. Very good. So which is a load balancer used for extreme high performance? Network load balancer. So network load balancer works on which protocol? TCP and UDP. So which load balancer supports static IPs? Network load balancer. How many IPs? One IP per availability zone. And which one is the previous generation load balancer? Classic. Classic works on which protocol? HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP. So which is the load balancer used for third-party security appliance and all? Gateway load balancer works on which protocol? Gateway port number 6081. Super. And do you remember in application load balancer, we have routing features. So what are the routing features that you know? Host-based routing, path-based routing, string parameter routings. So do you remember application load balancer has the concept of target groups? Remember, can we group the EC2 instance based on the target? So target group, what does the target group contains? Targets. What are targets? EC2 instances. Now we group it, no? What is that group called? Target group. What does the target group contain? EC2 instances. That is nothing but targets only. So load balancer is sending the traffic to the targets. No, targets nothing but EC2 instances. So that targets will be in one group. What group is that? Target group. And load balancer listens on what protocol? HTTP and HTTPS. So HTTP is common. Which one is secure? HTTPS. So which is the service where you can go and create HTTPS certificates? ACM. What is ACM? Amazon Certificate Manager. Amazon Certificate Manager. Super. Too good. Okay. If you're able to answer like this in interview, no, it's too good, yeah. Too good. That's the reason why most of our batches, not only you, any batch, so they easily, the only thing that you should get is opportunity. If you get opportunity, blast. That's it. Put that 1000 wala AWS and then start it. Blast. It is like blast like anything. Only thing is opportunity. So wait for the right opportunity and then jump on. Nice. Yashin, you should ask admin, not me. Okay. So guys, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? So today, let's talk about types of IP. Types of IPs. Anyone has, so please send me. Yasin, no one will have the recordings with them. Recordings are available only in your portal. Okay, no one will share the link to you. So you need to check with the admin only. You got it? Yasin Ansari. Okay. So what is the concept today? Types of IP addresses, IP address. So it's very important. So basically, what are the different types of IPs that you know? One is public IP. Second one you know already, no? One is public IP, second one is private IP. So these two we know. Public IP, private IP. And one more, in AWS, we have something called elastic IP. What is that? So how many types of IP addresses are there? Mainly 3 types. What are those? Public IP, private IP, elastic IP. One more time. Public IP, private IP, elastic IP. Very normal thing. Public IP address meaning which is exposed to public. Let's say you have one EC2 instance. No, you have one easy. So you go and launch an EC2 instance. No, you'll go and launch one EC2 instance. Once you launch an EC2 instance, you will get one IP address by default. Which IP address? That is private IP. Which IP address will get by default? Private IP. So whenever you go and launch EC2 instance, automatically IP address will be assigned. Which IP address? Private IP. Tell me, the EC2 instance has a private IP. Mandatory must ensure private IP will be there. EC2 instance has a private IP. And you are in the internet. Yes or no? Our laptops are in internet only, no? So, and we have the AWS. In AWS, you have EC2 instance with the private IP. Tell me, from your laptop, can you connect to the EC2 instance with the private IP? Answer is no. That is private, no? Can someone directly come to your bedroom? Because that is private. And can someone come to your common area? Yes, that is public area. So if you want to connect to your EC2 instances from internet, which IP address you need to assign? Public IP. Which IP address you need to assign? You're getting it. So I'll explain you more clearly. So let me write down first. How many types of IP address? 3 types. One is public IP. So private IP. And then what is the last one? Elastic IP. In shortcut, you call it as EIP. Which one? EIP. So let me give you okay. What is this? AWS. This is your AWS. And where are you? You're sitting here. This is your laptop. Right? Whose laptop? Or your laptop? My laptop. That means your laptop. Your laptop meaning not my laptop. Or my laptop is your laptop. No, it's your laptop. Okay. So something laptop. Okay. So now this is your laptop, Nana. Okay. And this is AWS. From your laptop, you are connecting to the AWS. Yes or no? You're opening the console and you're connecting it. Yes or no? And how you are connecting, through internet only or not? To the internet. So from your laptop, you open the AWS console. You have opened the AWS console. And what you did was you went and launched one EC2 instance. You went and launched a EC2 instance. This is the EC2 instance. And EC2 instance will get the IP address automatically. No, which IP address that EC2 instance will get automatically? Very good. Which IP address? That is mandatory or not? It is mandatory. So this is the IP address that you get it by default. Yes or no? Do we need to assign the private IP? Automatically, private IP will get it. Okay, now. So from your laptop, is it possible to connect to the EC2 instance using this private IP? Answer is no. When do you use the private IP? From your laptop, you cannot connect to the EC2 instance with the private IP. What IP address that you need to assign to the EC2 instance? Public IP you need to assign. So which is the IP address that you get for the EC2 instance by default? Private. So private IP will be there every time. But if required, attach, enable public IP. So that meaning your EC2 instance will have private IP plus public IP. Is it possible to have two IP addresses for a single EC2 instance? Possible, yes. So private IP. So from your laptop, if you want to connect to the EC2 instance through internet, which IP address do we use? Public IP. So from your laptop, you'll use the public IP to connect. Oh. Are? Understood now? Okay, so now, sir, when do we use private IP addresses? We know how to use public IP, yes or no? From your laptop, if you want to connect from internet to the EC2 instance, which IP address that you can connect? Public IP. But when do you use the private IP? So in two ways, in two places, you can use a private IP. Let's say, can I launch one more EC2 instance in AWS? Okay, see, this is the EC2 instance. And this also has the IP. Whenever you launch the EC2 instance, it will also have an IP. Which IP you will get? Private IP. Now tell me, these two IP addresses, they want to talk to each other. I mean, these two EC2 instances, they want to talk to each other. Which IP address they do use? Yes, they'll use what IP? private IP to communicate. So within AWS, EC2 to EC2, if they want to communicate with each other, so which IP address they'll use? Private IP. From internet, if you want to connect to the EC2 instance, which IP address? Public IP. Within AWS, two EC2 instances, private IP. Understood the difference between public IP and private IP? Now, sir, okay, we have private IP, public IP. Then what is elastic IP? Correct? So elastic IP meaning, okay, let's say for example, that is whose laptop? Madhu's laptop, for example. That is Madhu's laptop. Madhu is my customer. So what I did was I have went and launched an EC2 instance. I have enabled the public IP and have given that IP to the customer. Customer is connecting to my EC2 instance with the public IP. Yes or no? Now what I did, I stopped and start EC2 instance. I stopped and then started the EC2 instance. Once you stopped and start the EC2 instance, public IP address changes. Public IP address changes. So public IP address is static or dynamic? Dynamic. So once the public IP address changes, can my customer can connect to my EC2 instance? Then he starts shouting at me, hey, why I'm not able to connect to the EC2 instance? Then I'll say, sir, IP address got changed. Okay, give me that IP address. So I'll give one more IP address to him. So someone stopped and started again. Another again IP address change. So customer will get frustrated or not? So for this, is it good to give the public IP address to the customer if you want to access? No. Then what you need to? You need to have static or dynamic? Static. Public IP is dynamic, but what he need to have is static. So which IP address is static? Elastic IP address is static. Same concept. Public, what the characteristics of public IP, elastic IP, both are same. The only difference is public IP is dynamic, elastic IP is static. Can you assign elastic IP to the EC2 instance and connect from internet? Yes, elastic IP is used to connect from the internet only. Public IP address also used to connect from internet only. Both are from internet, but the difference is public IP is dynamic, elastic IP is static. Okay, got this? Understand the difference between public IP, private IP, and elastic IPs? Super. And question for you. Okay, let me write. So this public IP is static or dynamic? This is dynamic. So, and elastic IP? So EIP is static. And tell me, these two IP addresses are mandatory or optional? Yes, it is optional. It's not because if at all you need to expose your EC2 instance to public, then only you can have the public IP or elastic IP. But remember, maximum 99.9999% do not expose your EC2 instance to public. As I want to teach you many scenarios, for that reason I'm teaching you. Okay, now question for you is static only, Sudhanshu. Okay, so now end of the day you join some company. You joined some company. Once you join some company, you will be in company network, you will be in internet. So you will be this is your company, no? This is the company. Company. Let me remove this ek chutki sindur. So this is the company, Nana. So will you be connecting? You will be working from here or not? From the company, you will be working. So if you want to connect to the EC2 instance, can you connect like this? So end of the day, see, you will be working in the company. Assume this is our company. You're in boom company. Employee 1, employee 2, employee 3. So we are in the boom. We are boom employees. Okay. So now we have AWS. So we are all in the same network or not? So this is internet, private network. So company will have what network? Company will have private network. So now I am in the company. I want to connect to the EC2 instance. So can I connect to the public IP or can I use private IP to connect directly? Private, because our company is private. So private to private. Do you if you're connecting from company to AWS, can you connect directly with the private IP address? Yes. Why? Because we already discussed this. From company to AWS, how do we connect? Using what? Using VPN. Using what? VPN. Very good. Fantastic. What's the full form of VPN? Virtual Private Network. Virtual Private Network. So from your company to AWS, VPN is established. VPN is a public or private? Private, no. So private network is established. So from your company, if you want to connect to the EC2 instance, you will be connecting through private IPs. This is your actual real-time scenario. So through VPN, you will connect private to private. This is private to private. And understood? If you are in internet, then you need to use public IP. If you're in company through VPN, then go with the private IP. So do you understand where do you use private IPs? Private IPs will be used within AWS, EC2, private IP. From your company to the AWS, private IP. So maximum 99% you will be working from the company to AWS to the private IPs only. Do not enable the public IP. Now you tell me which in which scenario we are. Scenario number 1, which is company. Scenario number 2, which is internet. 1 or 2? In which scenario we are in now? 2 scenario. Because our laptop is on internet. Do we have VPN? No. So for that reason, we need to enable public IP or not? Yes. So we need to work with the public IP. Is it clear till here? Understand the differences between public IP, private IP, elastic IPs, when to use, what to use, everything. So let me write now. Okay. Before that, tell me, can EC2 instance can have only private IP? Yes. The EC2 instance will have only one private IP. I don't want public IP. I don't want elastic. I want only private IP. So EC2 instance can have only private IP? Yes. EC2 instance can have private IP plus public IP? Possible? EC2 instance can private IP plus elastic IP? Possible? And this is possible? The last one is possible. Last one is possible or not? Anyways, private IP will be there. I told you, no, you need to have either public IP or elastic IP. How come is it possible to have both? Public IP is dynamic, elastic IP is static. How come is possible to give 2? Not possible. So this combination is not possible. So public IP, elastic IP, they both should be same. You cannot have 2 different public IP and elastic, 2 different, no. Okay, na? Super. So let me start writing it. What is public IP? Which can be accessed from internet. So public IP is optional. And public IP is dynamic. Dynamic meaning if you stop and start the EC2 instance, IP address changes. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, public IP will be changed. And who will assign this public IP? AWS. AWS assigns public IP to the EC2 instance. Private IP, which can be accessed or which cannot be accessed from internet? Which cannot be accessed from internet. Private IPs are mandatory or not? Private IP is mandatory. Private IPs will change dynamic or static? Private is are mostly static. So when do we use this private IP? Within the VPC, right? And through VPN. Within the VPC meaning within the AWS. And elastic IP, Nana? Elastic IP is same as public IP only. It is same as public IP, but EIP is static. Static meaning if you stop and start the EC2 instance, IP address will change? No. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, EIP will not change. Remember, static IPs is not, it's very valuable. Static IPs are valuable. No one will give the static IP address. Okay, let's say you have internet access in your home, no? Airtel, Act2, Jio, whichever it is. So you have your laptop connected to the internet. So your ISP provider, internet service provider will give the IP address to your laptop or not? So that IP address will be static or dynamic? IP address will be static or dynamic? Let's say, for example, if I go and type here, what is my IP? Do you see this IP? This is IP address provided by whom? ISP provider. So this is IP is static or dynamic for you. So it is dynamic, not static, because static is very costly. It's very rare and very scarcity, right? It's very rare. No one will give the static IPs. Because static IP, you're reserving the IP address to that particular. So you need to pay extra money for reserving your IP address to your laptop or to your device. So no one will give the static IP address. But our AWS is giving you 5 elastic IPs free. How many IPs are free? 5 elastic IPs are free. Great or not? It's great. But as it is very costly or it is very rare to give, let's say, for example, how many IPs are free? Elastic IPs, 5 are free. Now you have launched one EC2 instance and you created one elastic IP and you have not associated to any EC2 instance. It is just lying over there ideally. It's a waste. It's waste only, no? You created and it's just lying over there. You're not using it. You see, whenever you create an elastic API, you need to attach it to the EC2 instance. Correct or not? You create an elastic API and you just left it like that. Even though it is below 5, AWS will charge for that. AWS will charge for that. Even though it is below 5 only. How many IPs are free? 5 IPs are free. But you created only one IP. But did you associate it to EC2 instance? If you're keeping it ideal, that elastic IP will be charged. So whenever you create elastic IP, immediately go and attach it to the associate to the EC2 instance. So if you are associated, how many IPs are free? 5. So create 5 and then attach one for each IP for each elastic IP for one EC2 instance. So if you are not associated, it will be charged. How many IPs are free? 5 IPs are free. EIPs are public or static? I mean, dynamic or static? Static. Clear? So how many IPs are free here? 5 EIPs are free. EIP has to be associated to the EC2 instance. If you have not associated or not used EIP to any instance, it will be charged. If those EIPs are below 5 also. Don't keep it ideal. Ideal EAPs are charged. Clearly, I wrote. Remember that. So if you don't play with it, elastic IPs. So you tell me. So in our course, will you use public IP or elastic IPs? In our course, we'll use public IP or elastic IP. We'll go with the public IP. Why unnecessary go to elastic? But I'll show you how to create elastic IPs and all. But generally, we'll go with the public. The public IP address for now it is free, but AWS is planning to bill charge there also. But I don't know whether it's implemented or not. AWS public IP. Free. This is new. This is a news, good news, huh? It's very, very, very negligible. Very, very negligible. So AWS public address charge, right? Okay, na? So for us, no need to worry. We'll just go in and do the practice, no issues. If at all charge very, very 0.00005 point, very, it's very negligible. Yes. Nana, is it clear till here, everyone? Correct, Sunil. Is this clear online? There is no concept in AWS LAN WAN concept. Okay. LAN WAN concept is for your private clouds, not for the public cloud, Sunil, number one. And then I might mostly use only two IPs, public IP from load balancer to internet, and rest are all private elastic IPs. No, you didn't understood that concept. So don't mix up private IP and elastic IP. Private IPs. So let's talk about from AWS perspective. We don't need to really worry about outside. Okay, Sunil, this is for you. So within AWS, if two machines wants to talk to each other, what IP address do you use? Private IP. And you are outside AWS. And if you want to connect to the EC2 instances, which IP address would you use? Public IP. And if you are in the company and you have VPN, so which IP address can you use? Private IP. And you are in the internet, but you don't want to change the IP addresses every time. So which IP address will you use? That's simple as that. Okay. So now, since our childhood, we have learned this concept. What is metadata? Metadata. Everyone say this, data about data is called metadata, but we don't know what is that actually, correct? So whenever people say metadata, data about data. Yes, metadata meaning data about the data. Data meaning what? Information. The information about that information is called the metadata. But here we have something called instance metadata. What's it? No? Instance metadata. Now, metadata meaning data about data. Instance metadata meaning data about instance. Who has launched EC2 instance, when he has launched, what kind of volume it has, which key pair, which security group, all this information we call it as what? Metadata. You understand? Okay. So instance metadata meaning data about instance. So from console, from where do you get all this information? From console, there will be a tab called detail tab. What tab? When you launch an EC2 instance, when you select, you have options. No, there will be an option called detail section will be there. If you click on the detail section, every information you will get it. That is from the console. So from console, you get the metadata information From which section is that? Details section or tab. So this is from the console, but how do I get instance metadata through CLI? There are two ways to access AWS. One is console access, another one is programmatical access. Programmatical is nothing but CLI. So if I want to know the information about the instance from console, I will get it from the detail section. But I'm on my CLI. How do I get the information about that machine? So for that, we have Pakka certification question, guys. From CLI, you need to follow the below URL. So you need to use this URL, and that URL is http://169.254.169.254/latest/meta-data/. So this is the URL that we should use inside the machine through CLI in order to get the information. So this URL is Pakka certification question in solution architect. Okay, say that URL. So I'll register that in your brains. Huh? See me. If you see me, then it will inject. Otherwise, no. See, I have 4 eyes. Huh? See here. Okay, so the URL. Say with me. http://169.254 169.254 /latest/meta-data. http://169.254 169.254/latest/meta-data. Say that right. http:// injected. Okay. Right. So this URL is 100% certification question. And I'll also tell this, they will replace the numbers 169.254. They'll say 254.169. And also they'll remove meta minus hyphen is there. No, that hyphen they'll remove. And again, they'll say metadata, they'll put front, later they will put latest. So they will confuse like this. So remember this song again. Right? 169.254, 169.254/latest/meta-data. So this song you need to remember. Okay, na? Pakka certification question. And this one, you need to use it from the machine only, through the CLI, not from the browser. Okay. So use this inside EC2 instance only on CLI, not browser. Okay. Next one here, we call it as user data. Very important. What is it? What is it, Nana? User data. What is it again? User data. Whose data? User data. So user meaning who? We only, no? We only. So user data meaning we are providing the data to whom? EC2 instance. So as we are providing the data to the EC2 instance, that's why we call it as, that's why it's called as user data. But that is wrong definition. Generally, people will say this. But technically, what is this is? No. User data is basically, it's called bootstrap script. What is that? Bootstrap script. Bootstrap script. That meaning, let's say, for example, can you give me one small software to install? Can you tell me one software name or tool name? Tomcat. So we'll take Tom. Everyone know Tomcat, right? Okay, some tool, some software. Okay, now I have asked you to install Tomcat. What will you do? You will launch EC2 instance. You will log into the EC2 instance. You go inside it, download Tomcat, install it. This is how you do. Yes or no? But I have asked you to do it for 10 missions. Will you do it 10 times? So what we can do is, how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7. In one of the step, there is something called user data box will be there. User data box. Box is a text box will be there. There, what you need to do is you need to put the script. What you need to put? Script. So basically, as we are using Linux machine, we need to use shell script. What script? Shell script. So you need to write one small shell script to install Tomcat. So Nana, later you no need to log into the EC2 instance and install manually. And if you know how to write a scripting, write the script and put it in that user data box and then launch. Whenever you launch the EC2 instance, what will happen? This script will be executed in the boot time. When you click on launch instance, EC2 instance will take some time, 3 minutes to launch an EC2 instance. At that time only, in the back end, this script will get executed. In the boot time itself, the Tomcat has installed. By the time the machine is up, your Tomcat is also readily available inside it. So if you know how to write a shell script, so based on that, if you put it, automatically the script will be executed in the boot time. That is why we call it as bootstrap script. What is that we call? Bootstrap script. So this script will be executed in what time? Boot time. So I want to launch 10 EC2 instance. So put that 7 steps and count. We put it 10 machines you need, and put user data and then launch. 10 machines will be launched at the same time and all Tomcats will be there. You understand what is user data? So user data is bootstrap script. What is it, Nana? Bootstrap script. Bootstrap script. So we'll be using this. I'll be telling you these things also in practicals. Okay. So we'll write one small shell script and automatically we'll try to host one small application also through Bootstrap script. So what is Bootstrap script? I'll write it here. The script which you provide will run at the boot time of the EC2 instance. Okay, let's say I have one question for you. See, let's say you put the user data and you have launched the machine, Tomcat installed. Again, you stopped and start the EC2. Again, the user data will execute. No, right? Because user data will be executed only for the first time that you launch EC2 instance. Bar whenever, again and again, if you stop and start, user data will execute. No, but user data already executed. No. So there is no, doesn't make any sense that user data will execute again and again because Tomcat is already installed there. So this is certification. User data will be executed only for the first time of launching the EC2 instance. Certification question. User data will run only for the very first time of launching EC2 instance. So for Linux, what is the script that we use? Shell script. For Windows, you use PowerShell. What is it, Nana? PowerShell script. We'll use it. Is it clear till here? Online, is this clear now till here, Sissy? Super. Okay. Then see. Now I have excuse me. I have been telling since many days how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance. But do you know the 7 steps? No. So we used to tell in Tirupati how many hills are there? I mean, or 7 doors are there, no? So 7 doors will you open and then you'll see the God, right? So now I'll show you, I'll tell you what are those 7 steps now. Because The entire these many days, we have been talking about the 7 steps only. So I don't like to show all the 7 steps indirectly in the practicals because you need to learn so many things there. For that reason, I took these many days. So now let's go and see what are those 7 steps. So this is like a big topic, huh? So I call it as the 7 steps. 7 adugulu. You want? Want, huh? No, danger. Okay. Why did I say there's 7 steps? Okay. So now, the first step is select AMI. The first step is we need to select the AMI. What is AMI? Amazon Machine Image. Yes or no? Amazon Machine Image. And also, and what is the image? So how many types of images we have? 2. Either it can be Linux image or it can be Windows image. I told you on Linux, meaning what is the image that we should select? Red Hat. That is the one of the step. And remember, in old console, AWS has 2 consoles. One is new console and then old console. People like me, those who are using AWS since many years, we got habituated with the old console. Now they are changing the look and feel, and now we have the new console. In old console, there are 7 steps. But here in new console, what they did was they combine all the 7 steps in one single page. But 7 steps will be there, but everything will be in a one page only. So one of the step here is to select the AMI. We know what is AMI now? Okay. So the second step here is select instance type, one of the step. What is the instance type that we select? Did we learn about this deeper? And another step is any kind of configurations. What we call it as instance configuration. Instance configuration meaning how many EC2 instances that you need, how many instances that you want to launch. Now, do you need to launch only one machine at the same time? No, there will be a number of instances. If you put one EC2 instance will launch. If you put 10 machines will be launched. So how many instances will be launched? And do you want public IP or not? Will you put user data or not? So all configurations will be there here. That is one of the steps. And next step here is select the storage. Which one? Storage meaning here what? EBS volumes. Did we talk about a lot on EBS volumes? So basically, how many types of volumes are there? 2 types. What are those? ISV. So do we need to worry about ISV? No. So every time when we go and launch, we go and use EBS volume. In EBS volume, basically two types of volumes are there. What is that? Root volume, additional volume. So I told you, by default, when you're launching the EC2 instance, one volume will come. What volume is that? So that root volume will be here. If it is Windows, how much size? 30 GB. 30 GB. If it is Linux, 8 to 10 GB. 8 or 10 GB. Yes or no? So that you will get it. If possible, can we have additional volume also? Can we add additional volume? Yes. What is the maximum additional volume you can have? 16 terabyte. And when you're using additional volume or whichever volume, what is the default type? Volume type? You know the answer, but shake your head. So what is the default volume type? Backside. There. Which one? You forget that song. Which one? Louder. GP2. Which one? GP2. Sing that song once. ST1, SC1, stand. Oh, nice. You remember song. Huh? So people have a lot of problem to remember this, but you are remembering very nicely. So which one, Anna? GP2 is the default. If possible, can you select? And this root volume, by default, it is GP2 only, no? Root volume support what volume types? GP2, GP3, I1, I2, standard. Except ST1, SC1, it supports all. Addition volume support, all types. So we learned all these things. So it's jujube from tomorrow because it's like we know everything. We should know what to click, where to click, how to click. Enduku, emiti, hela. That's it. Okay. So don't worry. What is that? Huh? Next here is select a security group. Did we learn about security group? Which security group we need to select? Which one? Default security group. Default security group. You're getting it? And then add tags. What is that? We need to give the name of the EC2 instance, no? Yes or no, guys? So whenever you're launching the EC2 instance, you need to give the name of the machine. So that is called the name is equal to, let's say for server 1. Can you give the name like this? How many tags you can have per resource? Maximum 50 tags. Very good. And then next here is select the key pair. Which one? Remember we discussed about the key pair. What is the extension of the key pair? .pem file. And finally, we have review. Review it and then go and boom, launch the machine. How many steps are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Review is not a step. Huh? So finally, we go and zip and then go and what? Launch EC2 instance. So now do you understand those 7 steps? Do you understand the 7 step? Is there any doubt anywhere here? So these are all things that we have learned. Any questions? All clear? Huh? In configuration, instance configuration. So remember, do you need cluster placement group or not? Everything, all these things will come under instance configuration. There are so many small properties will be there. In practicals, we'll see. Okay. So now, congratulations, we are done with EC2 here. Theory. But you know that I wanted to give always extra, right? You want small, very important extra topic on EC2. Ready? We still have time, no? So let's have one small topic. These are all the real time because not recently, I have implemented all these things in real time. So for that reason, I wanted to share, right? All this, each and everything is like a gem. Don't skip it, okay? Okay, so let me draw one diagram here. What is this? Load balancer. Why this going sound? So this is load balancer and we have why I'm not, phone is not there. No, someone in mobiles, they have a switch and they have connected. No one, huh? In mobiles, they have joined online. Here, offline people. So because of that, echo is coming. So, okay. So what load balancer is that? Elastic load balancer. So which type we'll use generally? ALV, right? So this is EC2, EC2, EC2. Okay. Can I have this infrastructure? Yes. So assume this is in which region? Mumbai region. Which region? Mumbai. I have this architecture. So now, some guy is in US. Okay, our customer is in where in a US. Obviously, whoever is in India, they'll have a low latency or high latency. Low latency because our infrastructure is in Mumbai only. So, but for this guy who is in US, if they are planning to access our website, boom.com, for him, he'll have a low latency or high latency. High latency. Why? Because in internet, there will be so many hops. You know what is hop? Let's say I want to go from here to that last guy. So, okay, let's say I want to go to the last guy. What I need to do, I need to hop. Hop meaning jumping from one place to another place. So I'll hop from here, 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 here. How much time will it take to reach there? A lot of time. So if I want to reach this person which is nearby, can I walk and go? Yes. So nearby meaning here also, in traffic, in network also, if you want to connect to the US guy, right? From here, my laptop need to go to our local hub. From there, need to go to somewhere. Somewhere you need to go to some hub. Some there I need to go to some other device. Some there, from where you need to go to some firewall. So all these are all what? Hops. What are these? Hops. If you have so many hops, you will have a low latency or high latency. Obviously, that is the reason why, as it has so many hops, it will have a high latency. So it'll have a high latency. How to make it low latency? So I have the high latency here. US guy is not able to access my Mumbai thing. But how do I resolve this issue? CloudFront. Which one, Anna? Cloud. Remember CloudFront? So if you want to have a good performance across the world, you can use the CloudFront. What does the CloudFront has? Edge locations. What does the CloudFront has? So US also has edge locations or not? Edge locations is nothing but CDN. What is CDN? Not CBN, Chandrababu Naidu. CDN. Hey, how can you forget this? CDN. Some people said, it's not for us. What is CDN? Content Delivery Network. I'll remind you, see, CloudFront is a service. Every region has what? Edge locations. Edge locations are completely managed by AWS. What does the edge locations do? Cache. What does the edge location do? Cache. So our application will be cached on all edge locations. I'm in US. In US also I have edge locations. So my application is in Mumbai. My application data will be copied to my edge location. So as I'm in US, do I need to connect to Mumbai or do I need to connect to edge location? Edge location. These edge locations are connected to what network? CDN. What is network? CDN meaning Content Delivery Network. CDN is not meaning our internet AWS network. AWS network. So does it go to internet or does it go, your traffic will go to AWS network? AWS network. So we have the CDN here. So US guy will be connected to the CDN. See, US guy will be connected to the CDN, and from CDN, it will be connected to the Mumbai. It have a low latency or high latency here? Obviously having a, this one we know, we have learned. So, and I have another customer, Anna. See here, I have another customer. This is another customer. And this customer, what is our application name? http://boom.com. And I have another customer. And what this customer is saying, Babu, can you give me the IP address of your boom.com? Oh, do you remember this topic? Huh? The customer is asking, give me the IP address of boom.com. Did we discuss yesterday? Ship issue. Right? So here also customer is asking, give me the IP address of boom.com. Is it possible for us to give the IP address for the boom.com? No, because that is a load balancer. Load balancer has IP address. It has, but those are dynamic. Is it possible to give? No. But customer is stubborn and said, I want IP address. I mean, whatever you want to do, you do. Right? Those who understand, they understand the point. Right? So I want the IP address of your website. Can I tell the same thing about what I told you yesterday? No. So for this, AWS came up with a concept called Global Accelerator. What is that, Nana? That is the topic. So we have something called Global Accelerator. Global Accelerator. As the name says, what is accelerate? Rise, speed, right? Accelerate. So you want to accelerate globally. Accelerate globally. So that meaning globally, your performance will be increased. So you'll get a high performance. And the very good thing here is Global Accelerator supports 2 static IPs. Global Accelerator support how many static IPs? 2 static. The 2 static IPs, here we have 2 static IP. And this Global Accelerator again connected. This Global Accelerator is connected to your load balancer. And these 2 static IP addresses, you can give it to your customer. And customer will be connected to your Global Accelerator, and Global Accelerator will be connected to your load balancer. So that IP concept is gone now. So this was recently introduced. You understand? So do I need to, can I give the static IPs to the customer? Yes. Which static IP? What you need to implement? Global Accel. Load balancer will be there. In front of the load balancer, what is the thing that you can implement? Global Accelerator you can implement. And Global Accelerator will give how many IPs? 2. So basically IP addresses are 2 types. I mean 2 types meaning we call it as unicast. What is it? Unicast IP. Unicast IP meaning one server holds one IP address. What is that? One server holds one IP address. And then we have one more thing, we call it as Anycast IP. What is that? What is it? Say that. Anycast. What is unicast and anycast? What is that? Unicast, anycast. Anycast meaning all servers holds the same IP address and the client is routed to the nearest one. You see that? So we'll be using Anycast IP concept. What is that? Anycast. Nana, there are 2 types. Unicast, Anycast. Say that. Unicast, Anycast. Unicast meaning one server will have one IP address. Anycast meaning multiple server has same IP addresses. Let's say, for example, I'm in Hyderabad. Hyderabad also has global accelerators. If you create global accelerator, what will happen is there will be in the back end, AWS has multiple servers. How many static IPs global accelerator is giving? These 2 IP addresses will be duplicated to multiple servers in the back end. Now I am there from here, I'm accessing my boom.com. Whichever is nearest to global accelerator, I'll get connected there. And from there, AWS will send you to your load balancer. Wherever you are, it will be connected to the nearest global accelerator. So these 2 static IPs are unicast or anycast? Anycast. This is certification. These 2 IP addresses are Anycast IP address. You understand what is Anycast? Anycast meaning multiple servers will have the same IPs. So it is like my agents. Let's say Ria sir has some agents, right? So left side people are, you want to talk to me, and these 4 people are my agents. So whoever is nearest to you, can you go to that person and get the details? And everyone knows about the Ria sir. Understood? So this will help you to increase the performance. So your global accelerator will be connected to your load balancer. But remember, global accelerator will cache. Global accelerator will not cache. Who will cache? Edge location will cache. So can we use the combination of global accelerator and edge location also in the backend? Yes, I can use edge location. No, these are all architecture. I can use edge location also. Your global accelerator, I'm in US. Assume I'm in US. Okay, I'm in US. Now I started using boom.com. And then the first thing will hit is what? Global accelerator. Yes or no? Global accelerator. So global accelerator will be connected, and global accelerator itself is very fast. It will hit to your load balancer. In between also, I have selected edge location. I have configured edge location because the caching will be happening there and fastness will be happening in the global accelerator. Global accelerator, edge location, load balancer. You will have a super speed. You're getting it? Architectures. So this is how you can set up your architecture. Is this clear on the global accelerator? Clear? And global accelerator is giving you some fantastic features. Have you heard about DDoS attack? Okay, so there will be some attacks to your websites. There will be some attacks happening. Let's say, have you heard about this? Google company is there. Some people will hack Google URL and then will do something, right? How they are hacking it. So what some people will do, DDoS attacks, some malicious softwares, they will put it, and also HTTP flooding, they'll do SQL injections, they will be doing on the URLs to tamper it. So if you want to stop all these things, there is a service in AWS called AWS Shield. What is that? What does the shield will do? It will stop and protect, no? Similarly here also, if you want to protect your application, what you need to put in front? AWS Shield. And AWS Shield has a concept called WAF. What is that? Web Application Firewall. What is that? So you have a shield, and on top of it, you have a WAF, and then it will hit your load balancer. So it will go to the shield first, and then WAF, and then to the load balancer. So if you want to tighten, stricten the security, then you can go with all these things. Is it clear, Nana? So I'll write it for you. Priyanka is asking, what is the difference between CDN and global accelerator? Let me write. Write down, guys. This is important. It will be helpful for you. So leverage the AWS internal network to route to your application. To any cached IP are created for your application. The any cached IP send traffic directly to edge locations. The edge locations sends traffic to applications. You understand how does it work now? So intelligent routing to lowest latency and lowest latency for your global applications. This is something little bit advanced, but can I say GA in shortcut, global accelerator? So GA performs health checks for your applications. Helps make your application global. It's great for DR. DR meaning disaster recovery. Two IPs are white listed. DDoS protection through WAF. And I'll help you to write here GA versus CloudFront. They both use the AWS global network and its edge locations around the world. Both services are integrated with AWS Shield for DDoS protection. CloudFront. So CloudFront, what does it do? It improves performance for both cache content, images and videos. So CloudFront cache only statica or dynamic, both are. So both dynamic and static content can be cached. And then yeah. రేపు నుంచి ఉంటుంది చేయండి. 1 second, guys.
Good morning, guys. You are requested to come to lab for your practices, and you can utilize the lab facilities. It is the lab timings is from morning 8 a.m. till evening 8 p.m. We provide a free Wi-Fi, and mentors are there to help you and guide you. Whenever you are getting difficulty, we are there to help you. And after we will help you in resume building also. Okay. And for online students, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is the doubt clearance session. Online and offline both can utilize that facility, but offline students can come to lab. It is in the 3rd floor. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was a lab announcement. So guys, so what you can do is, if you have any questions and if you want to do some practicals and labs and all, so you can utilize their help. And some people have not created the AWS account yet. Everyone has AWS accounts? So anyone who has not created yet? Those who have not created, so that's what they said. Some people have not created the AWS account yet. So I feel like everyone has already created. If not, created. And if you are not able to create and you're getting so many issues and problems, so you will be having your John Jigir those friend, right? You get it, create one IAM user from his account and use that IAM user to his account. Anyways, bill will not come, right? So it's fine. So content is served from edge locations. And then GA. Improves performance for a wide range of applications globally. Whitelisting IP and DR. So someone is asking, for online, who is the POC for lab.live? You joined, Sunil. You joined. There is no point of contact like that. So there will be two. Just now people spoke, right? So what are their names? Mahendra or someone, right? So you just join that link and someone will be there. You just post your question. People will help you to get clarified. So how GA help with disaster recovery? So that one, disaster recovery, meaning if something goes wrong, your site 1 goes down, site 2 will be available. So you can set it up. So when we go to Route 53, there we learn more about DR's concept. And this global accelerator is completely managed by AWS. Managed by AWS. And this is for speed purpose. You will get speed and then you will good performance. Now, is this clear? Some additional topic for you. I already told you, no, Priyanka. What is WAF? Web application firewall. So this is also one of the service. This is one of feature from AWS Shield. So where it will help you to stop unwanted traffics to your application. So do you understand? So GA, so why I have put CloudFront also, there will be little bit confusion between CloudFront and GA. For that reason, I have given the differences here for you. Clear? Any questions? Online? Any questions? Is it clear? So we are done with EC2. And from tomorrow, what we're going to do, we do the practicals on EC2. Okay. And what I want you to do is from day one of EC2 till here, I want you to do a small revision because we have covered so many topics, no? So just to revise, because all those topics will come from tomorrow practically. So it is better for you to just go and do the revision. No need to do the revision. Everything is in your brains, I know. But it's always good to have just when you're going to sleep, just take your phone and go with the screenshots. Instead of going with the reels, go with the screenshots. Okay, take the screenshots, guys. Done. Okay. And the 7 steps. Okay. And the last. So what is the last topic that we have learned? GA, Global Accelerator. Okay. Super. Nice. Good. So can you give me the final CC for today online? CC with smile. Great. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with EC2 practicals. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.